Scarface likes to let the players believe that they are their own boss, and that each decision they make from the business menu will affect the course of gameplay, but it really only boils down to the same decisions over and over. First you get the money, then you get the drugs, then you get the power, then you get the money, then you get the exotics, or whatever you feel like spending it on. But being the boss also sparks a great deal of convenience. Your trusty cell phone can fetch you a car in the push of a button, and with the right connections you can conduct all your arms dealings over the phone. This improvement in convenience works well to keep the grind out of doing errands to a minimum, although you won't be able to hire someone to pick up the kids from soccer practice.
This is the best that fucking is.
Since it's the weakest of the true crime triforces, I like to call it, let me start by talking about the hand-to-hand combat. It's simple, a little broken, but not heavily relied upon. The shooting was actually pretty well done. A new element that was added to the auto-aim formula is that you need to do some fine-tuning to make sure you're hitting your enemy where you want them to be hit. And if there's any doubt, a meter will tell you where the person was hit. It also allows for quick readjustment in case you're looking for a new target. Plus, every gun seems to conform well to the auto-aim system. Meanwhile, the driving is meh, with a second helping of it for the boating sections. Not nearly as good as GTA, but they could have done a hell of a lot worse. It's where these two elements meet where I think the gameplay gets interesting. If you're targeting an enemy while behind the wheel, you can freely aim and fire with one analog stick, while steering and hitting the gas. The cool twist to this is that the car goes into cruise control while targeting, meaning that you're not going to slow down while steering, aiming, and firing. Although not a crucial problem, Saints Row would have done a hell of a lot better to heed to this credo. It's actually so well done that my only qualms came specifically from my own incredulousness in the advancement. And if I'm losing anyone with these big words, feel free to pause the video and write them all down. One big gripe I'd also like to make is that the game starts you off with inverted controls. Why developers continue to think that you're flying a plane, not shooting a gun, is something that still escapes me, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. When I said the controls are inverted, I didn't mean the Y-axis. Alright, who in the blue hell thought it would be a good idea to make left be right and right be left? I mean, it's bad enough when you're stuck with an inverted Y-axis, but this is just ridiculous! Luckily you can change this, and thank frickin' God for that, because if not, I would not have bothered playing this game. So what do you do in Scarface anyway? Well, what do you think? You pick turf, stake claims, do some odd jobs, find dealers, get drugs, sell drugs, get money, expand, bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Apart from money and drugs, Tony also strives to rack up balls.
I'm taking this world by the balls.
That's right. Balls. And how do you get balls? Why, by doing ballsy things like driving maniacally or scaring Skylarking gang members. And if all else fails, shooting and schmoozing work just as well. So what do you do with balls? Balls fill in a meter that puts Tony into rage mode when full. How that makes sense, I have no idea. While in rage mode, you have infinite ammo, super aim, and regained health by killing enemies. It's too bad balls couldn't be incorporated into anything else, especially since the game seems fixated on them. I will now allow the viewer 5 seconds to rid their mind of any balls jokes. Finished? Okay. Now, being Tony Montana means you're a master of persuasion. That means you can make people do what you want them to do, when you want them to do it. Unfortunately, somebody on the development team thought it would be a wonderful idea to make this into a minigame. Fine, I can totally agree with you there. It actually sounds like a lot of fun. But what we get is quite possibly the stupidest substitute to a proper persuasion technique that I've ever seen in a game. It's as if I'm enjoying a nice rousing game of Team Fortress 2, but every time I want to take over an enemy control point, I have to pop a ball into a cup. It's just bad game design. The stupid circular meter, which kind of reminds me of something from a golfing sim, only much less fun. And this wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have to do it so often, and once again, this wouldn't be so bad if the results for failure weren't so catastrophic. I swear, there have been times when I've conducted over a dozen successful deals only to have the cops barge in and take everything just because I was off by a fraction of a second. I can see where they were going with this. I mean, in the movie there were a lot of haggling offers, so Tony made some pretty bold moves, which sometimes blew deals. Likewise, there were several scenes where they were trying to find a bank that would take their dirty money for low interest rate, even if it was just a segue for the next part of the story.
This ain't a problem,
but at the end of the day, this is the only part of the game that I totally and completely hate. Whatever. Anyway, getting henchmen under your control is another way to make some cool cash. Drivers steal cars, enforcers move in on enemy gangs, and assassins, well, their job is obvious. It's just too bad that you can't actually command these troops, but instead have to play as them for every mission you carry out. This is fine, I guess. It just would have looked cooler in a living, breathing city. So by the end of the game, you figure out what happens to LV, settle the score with the Diaz brothers, Sheffield, Sosa, and other baseball players. That's funny. I'm funny. I'll tell you right now, I haven't actually gotten a chance to finish this game, but if it ends just as well as it began, then it'll be worth doing. What Scarface boils down to is an unfortunately forgettable game, despite how good the film is. To the average gamer, it was a neat rental and a pretty good bargain at today's prices. But the fact that it's a movie-based video game might dissuade newcomers from wanting to play it. But in comparison to most movie-based video games, it's definitely above average. On the other side of the fence, if you're a hardcore or even passive fan of Scarface, then you owe it to yourself to pick up this game if you haven't already. Personally, I liked it, but it wasn't as jaw-dropping or worth the hype that my fanbase seems to give it. But hey, it's a lot of game and a fine imaginary sequel. No hateful rambling this time, guys, lest I make myself into a complete douche. But next time, there will be. Trust me, there will be. Adios.